Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to do something very important for your English. We are going to work on the basic grammar that helps you speak clearly, correctly, and confidently. And yes, even at a beginner level, this matters a lot, especially if you want to speak in a professional context. Very often, students know words, but they do not know how to build the sentence well. They have vocabulary, but the sentence is weak. Today, we are going to fix that. Our focus is very simple. We are going to work on the simple present, the simple past, subject-verb agreement, prepositions, sentence formation, and a few common irregular verbs. So, let us begin with a very short example. Listen carefully. Hello, my name is Emma. I live in Paris. I study business. I work in a small company. My company sells eco-friendly products. Last week, I visited a client with my manager. The meeting was useful. Now, this small text is very useful because it already shows us two important tenses. First, the simple present. I live in Paris. I study business. I work in a small company. My company sells eco-friendly products. These sentences talk about facts, habits, or regular situations. That is why we use the simple present. Then we also have the simple past. Last week, I visited a client. The meeting was useful. These sentences talk about finished actions in the past. That is why we use the simple past. So already, in just a few lines, we can see the difference. Now, let us slow down and look at the first part. When I say, I live in Paris, I am talking about my present situation. When I say, I study business, I am talking about my current studies. When I say, I work in a small company, I am talking about my routine or normal life. This is the simple present. Now listen to these examples. I work in marketing. You study English. We have class on Monday. They speak French. These are all correct, but now listen carefully to this. He works in marketing. She studies English. The company has a website. My teacher speaks clearly. Can you hear the difference? With I, you, we, and they, the verb stays simple. I work, you work, we work, they work. But with he, she, and it, we usually add s or es. He works. She studies. It costs. The manager speaks. This is what we call subject-verb agreement, and this is one of the most common mistakes for French learners. For example, some students say, he work in Paris. No, that is not correct. We say, he works in Paris. Some students say, the company sell products. No, we say, the company sells products. So please, remember this rule. It is small, but it is powerful. If you forget the S, your English sounds less correct immediately. Now, let me give you a few examples. Listen and repeat in your mind. She works in finance. He lives in Lyon. My manager speaks English. The company sells software. The employee helps the customer. Good. Now, let us move to sentence formation. Many learners know vocabulary, but they put the words in the wrong order. In English, word order is very important. English likes structure. English likes order. The basic sentence pattern is simple: subject, then verb, then the rest. For example, I work in a bank. She studies management. We visited a client yesterday. The company supports the community. This is the natural English order. Sometimes learners produce sentences like, "Works she in a bank?" or "In Paris lives my manager." That may sound logical if you are thinking from another language, but for basic English, that is not the structure we want. We say, "She works in a bank." We say, "My manager lives in Paris." So, when you build a sentence, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Who? 2. What action? 3. What extra information? Who? My manager. What action? Works. What extra information? In Paris. My manager works in Paris. Simple, clear, correct. Prepositions. Now, let us go to prepositions. Prepositions are small words, but they can create big problems. Today, we will focus on a few useful ones: in, at, on, with, to, and for. Listen carefully. I live in Paris. We work in France. We use in for cities and countries. Now this one. She is at the office. He is at work. We use at for a place or a specific point. Now this one. We have class on Tuesday. The meeting is on Monday morning. We use on for days. Now this one. I went with my manager. She spoke with the client. We use with for people who are together. Now this one. I sent an email to the customer. We went to the office. We use to for direction or destination. And finally, this report is for the manager. The gift is for the client. We use for to show purpose or who receives something. These words are short, but they are very important in professional English. If you say, I sent an email for my manager, when you really mean to my manager, the meaning changes. So, pay attention to them. The simple past. Now, let us move to the simple past. The simple past is used for finished actions. We often see time expressions like yesterday, last week, last month, last year, or this morning. For example, I worked yesterday. She visited a client last week. We had a meeting this morning. Now, some verbs are regular. That means we add ed. Work becomes worked. Visit becomes visited. Help becomes helped. Start becomes started. But now comes the part students must memorize. Some verbs are irregular. They do not take ed. They change form completely. Listen carefully to these pairs. Go, went. Have, had. Do, did. See, saw. Come, came. Speak, spoke. Write, wrote. Give, gave. Take, took. Make, made. These verbs are extremely common. You hear them all the time, so you must know them. Yesterday, I went to the office. Last week, we had a meeting. I made a mistake. Many students say, I have a meeting yesterday. No. If it is yesterday, the action is finished, so we say, I had a meeting yesterday. Bringing it all together. Now, let us bring everything together in a professional example. Listen. My name is Sarah. I live in Paris. I study management. I speak French and English. I go to class every week. I also work in a small company. Last week, I went to a meeting with my manager. We spoke with a client. The meeting was short, but it was productive. Why is this a good example? Because it uses correct word order, it uses the simple present, it uses the simple past, it uses prepositions, it uses irregular verbs, and it sounds natural. That is exactly what you need at this level. Not perfect English, not difficult English, just clear, correct, useful English. So, when you speak, do not try to sound too advanced too quickly. Build strong, simple sentences first. Before we finish, let us quickly review the irregular verbs one last time. Go, went. Have, had. Do, did. See, saw. Come, came. Speak, spoke. Write, wrote. Give, gave. Take, took. Make, made. Please learn these. They will help you a lot. So, today we learned that the simple present is for facts. The simple past is for finished actions. Subject-verb agreement is essential, and word order is the key to being understood. Now, your job is simple. When you speak English, slow down a little. Think about the subject. Choose the correct verb. Check the tense. Build the sentence in the correct order. That is how good English starts. That's all for now. See you in the next class.